and welcome to another episode of Cinema Affairs.
My name is Sophie,
My name is Mimi.
and today we are going to talk about The Apprentice.
What should we start with?
Let's start with a short description of the film. Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
You can do it.
The Apprentice is the story of a young Donald Trump and the relationship with his infamous closeted gay lawyer Roy Cohn, who helped turn him into the legend that he is today.
That's a very accurate description.
Thank you, I did myself.
What I liked most about The Apprentice was probably the acting. I did not expect to see Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump so beautifully. Even if Sebastian Stan is a very conventionally attractive man, I can say that in The Apprentice, he was not necessarily attractive.
It was a very refreshing take on Donald Trump, if that makes sense, into the way that he impressioned him, because instead of trying to do the voice, he really went for the body language and for face mimics, which was really interesting. Like, I thought they were so on point. You see so many Trump impressionists these days, and I kind of feel like it's all news at this point, and then seeing him and the way that he took on the character, I thought was just refreshing.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan is impressive.
Yeah.
In every single role he plays, in my opinion, but I might be biased because he's Romanian and we just have to love each other, you know?
He's really good. He's really good. I'll give you that. I actually really, really enjoy him in every single thing I've seen him.
Jeremy Strong also had a very powerful performance in this movie.
I completely agree.
I personally am a big fan of Jeremy Strong, and I've seen him in Succession before. I think he was basically born to play rich, troubled man. And in this movie, he was iconic.
What did you like about his character?
I could see him going through every single stage of the character development, and I did not question for 1 second if that role was real or not. And I don't think he's even gay in real life, is he?
I don't think so. Let me put it this way. I don't think so, but I didn't have any curiosities in that department, so I didn't do any research. I don't know.
Same here, but he did a very good performance.
I think what impressed me so much with his character was the fact that he humanized Roy Cohn without taking away from all the terrible things that he has done, in a sense where you see from the beginning, like he has no moral ethic compass, like that's out the window from the beginning, which is the whole idea of this character. I mean, and him in real life, actually. And at some point, for some reason, you are able to sympathize with him without actually being like, oh, you're a good person. You're just like, I feel bad for you in some moments. I don't think it's fair that maybe this has happened to you, but at the same time, you did do everything wrong under the sun, which I thought was so powerful, because a lot of the times when you see characters that are so antagonistic as Roy Cohn was, you just tend to feel good for them when they get what they deserve, if that makes sense. But I feel like Jeremy Strong had such a human take on him that in the end you're just like, I just feel bad for you. You're a human being at the end of the day, and I feel like no human being should be treated that way, which was amazing on him, the fact that he managed to actually bring that up.
Yeah, but it's also the disease he had. I think that's what makes us very wary of what we think about him, because whenever you see somebody who's sick, you're just like, yeah, well, I mean, they're a terrible person, but no one really deserves to be sick and feel like that.
I mean, I agree with that, but I think for me it was also the relationship between him and Donald Trump, because he was his teacher basically from the beginning of the film, and he was indispensable most of the film until one point, and then from that point on, Donald Trump kind of was like, I don't need you anymore, and he treated him with a lot of ungratefulness, which I think was very sad to see in a sense, because even when you try to abstract from who they are actually, like in real life, they have this relationship between them that they've built, and whenever someone actually tries to help you and bring you to a certain status and give you from their knowledge and whatever, at the end of the day, when, for example, like Donald Trump was so ungrateful and treating him so badly, you just feel bad, because you know that he did his best in that department as a lawyer and as a friend and as a mentor.
Yeah, but he also did it because he needed Trump.
I mean, he had a lot of clients. He didn't need to take on him specifically. He saw something in him, let's put it this way.
He was a bit of an opportunist, to be fair, but...
No, I know.
What do you think of the storyline?
I thought it was an interesting take. I mean, I had my fair share of things that I didn't like, but I really love this description that someone had of the movie, that this is actually a ghost story. And that is basically the story of how Roy Cohn's ghost went into Donald Trump's body and like impersonated him basically.
Right.
Yeah, like it's a crazy take, I get that, but at the same time I thought it was very creative because it kind of speaks on how Donald Trump was so young when he met Roy Cohn and when he went into business, that kind of meeting him and being influenced by him took a really big toll on the way that he has conducted business for the rest of his life. And then Roy Cohn
Yeah.
died, obviously, and Donald Trump is like an alive, I don't know, token of how Roy Cohn used to be.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Um, totally agree. I would say I was not a big fan necessarily of the storyline. I feel like it was very biased because even if Trump was probably, and is probably not, the kindest person in the world, he was portrayed as the worst person in the world, which I don't necessarily think he is. They tried to make him look like he doesn't even care about his own children, and I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't know the man, but like in every single person's life, there are people who love them for some reasons, and I think they failed to show why this man deserved to be loved by the few people in his life who could have loved him. And one of my favorite scenes was when Trump met Ivana, and he was actually kind of innocent,
It was
and
quite
you can
sweet.
tell, yeah, you can tell he was in love. And I feel like that was probably one of the very few scenes, if not even this the one single scene where Trump felt like a real human being and not like a monster.
I would say that for me, for the whole movie, he didn't feel like a monster. He felt quite humanized, and the fact that they started from, let's say, his beginnings with his mom and his dad. He also had family and family issues and trauma and whatever. He is not just the way he is because that's how he is. He developed into who he is today.
I think we assume he developed into what he is today, but it was not clearly shown that he is the way he is because his dad treated him bad. It's like I feel like they've given an idea that he might be the way he is because of his dad, but then they kind of cut that plot to make him feel like a terrible person for treating his mom and dad very bad and like trying to take advantage of them.
I think at the end of the day, the idea is that he's the way he is because of the influences of Roy Cohn.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I feel like the storyline was constructed in a way that you would think when you watch this movie that Donald Trump would have been nothing without this man. And I am like a believer of the fact that not one single person on this earth can determine the fate that we have, and that like if there was not Roy Cohn, there would have probably been another person who would have helped him develop into the person he is. And there would have probably been differences if there was not like Roy Cohn, but not very big because he was who he is, even like before he met this man. And I don't think anybody can make another person.
I think more than that, one of my problems with the storyline was the fact that it just felt like it lacked some power somehow. Like it felt like the story was quite straightforward, a bit like they were spoon feeding the audience the information that they wanted us to have. Like there wasn't really much to think about as metaphors or oh, like what did that mean or what did they want to say or how what was behind the whole thing, you know, which I always appreciate in a movie. And from that point, it just felt a bit flat in a sense, less ambitious
Yeah,
than what they could have done with it.
yeah.
Like
It felt
that
like
was
it did.
my biggest problem, let's say, with the storyline, and that's why it's not necessarily like it didn't make top of movies that I've seen last year that I really enjoyed, because it wasn't. Like it lacked some important things for me.
For me as well, I feel like there was no message in it besides the fact that, hey guys, Trump is a bad person. Okay, that's everything. Bye. It just felt like that for me.
I would definitely say that I would recommend people watch this movie for the acting, for Sebastian Stan and for Jeremy Strong, because I think they did a really good job with their characters and to humanize them and not make a caricature out of them, which is something that happens a lot. And that's very impressive. And you should definitely know that this movie lacks in a lot of stuff, but the acting is impeccable. So definitely go and watch it for that.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. And if you've got different opinions, please let them in the comments. We are very interested in knowing what you think.
And thank you for watching again, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.